last part of this video. So we're going to do some quick updates before we kick into hell. So the first update is I did manage to get myself to level 75, which was the plan. I was splitting my time between doing Nightmare Cows and running Terror Zones, depending on what the Terror Zone was. And I would, if it was a bad Terror Zone, then I'd just run Cows, and I would wait until the next Terror Zone. And basically, I did that for a few hours, probably more than a few hours. I did that for a long time, actually. And I ran everything on Players 5. Leveling was a little bit slower than I thought it was going to be, but I also wasn't exactly being efficient, and I was picking things up and looking at stuff, and in general, just sort of meandering around, not exactly in any sort of hurry. So it did take a little bit longer than I was hoping for, but we got there in the end. Our gear hasn't changed since the end of last game. I did pick up a few items, but nothing overly exciting during that run. The only exciting thing that I did get is we managed to get our coronet. So this did drop from cows. I actually found 3 of them, but the first 2 that I found were socketed, which was really, really annoying because you cannot imbue an item that is socketed. And when the second one dropped that was socketed, I was starting to get a little bit, like, dejected. And it wasn't even 3 sockets. It wasn't even something that I could make, like, a bulwark for Ellie. It was literally just, like, 1 socket in it. So, not even a useful socket. But we got there in the end. Finally got it. So, with that being said, that is basically the last thing that I'm going to be doing in Nightmare before we go over to Hell. So fingers crossed. Anyway, I don't want to wait any longer. I've been hanging out for this, so let's get it done.
Good day.
Come on, Chassis. Let's go. I mean, we get all res and 30% faster run walk. It's not horrible. It's not horrible at all. I could feel that 30% faster run walk. I could feel it. Oh. Look how fast I am. Right, so I figured before I jump over to hell, I would just quickly punch a hole in this. Got nothing else to really socket, so I might as well just do it now. Right, so I've just made it over to hell, and we're going to check our resistances for the first time. I can't imagine this is going to be a good time. Oh, that's not a good time. So, we're in the red with everything. Minus 22 on everything is less than ideal. And a lot of the plans that I kind of thought of in advance that I may be able to do to counteract the resistances have kind of gone out the window. So one of those plans was I was going to get the 3 rings from Akara and roll them into an amulet. And then I was going to roll that magic amulet into a prismatic using the gem recipe. And my thinking behind all of this was because I got the magic ring in normal, that I would have 3 magic rings, but it's just not the case. I get rare rings in Nightmare and Hell, so I can't even make an amulet, so I'm basically going to be without an amulet. I can't do the 3 rings into an amulet recipe, which really sucks. I also kind of thought that I would be able to farm Countess for a rune. But thinking more upon that, the rune drops are not part of the quest. So the only other way I'm going to get it is with my Hellforge, and I have a 1 in 11 chance of that happening. So, and then I've got to make it until all the way up to Act 4 before I can do it anyway. So we're not looking good on our resistances. I have a feeling I'm going to have a better chance at resistances on the boot. I don't know whether that's fact or not. I looked up a bunch of affixes about when things spawn, but it turns out a lot of the stuff I was looking up turned out to be bullshit, so now I'm a little bit confused. So I'm just going to wing it, and we're currently level 75, so after I get the Malice, I'm going to imbue either the boots or the gloves. I still don't know. Oh, looking at this, that's really bad. It's not looking like it's going to be a good time. Right, Den is done. Super easy, so no issues with Den. Alright, so we're in the passage now, so this is going to be... Yeah, this is going to be a time. Alright, we're out. Safety there. Come on, Akara. Do me a solid. 5%. The best you can give me is 5% fire res. You're dead to me! Alright, let's go to our incredible tower location. Doesn't get much better than that. So this is our shot. This is our one... I say one shot, but it's our one shot at Countess to get an Umbroon, so... High stakes. We get... We get a homunculus! How the hell am I getting so many unique items with no magic find? And this is a pretty decent one. That's... Yeah. The Umbroon is not meant to be. I am going to socket this, but I think I need to do something, so that's going to be better than nothing. Alright, so that brings me to a grand total of 8 on the fire res. So, huge up in here. I'm still a little bit blown away by this homunculus. I'm keeping it.
The sisters will be glad.
We got the Malice. Last imbue. It's basically our last chance now to get some resistances and get out of the red. Whatever happens now kind of determines the rest of the game, because we only have the Ormus ring left after this. So this is a defining moment of how cruisy the rest of the run's going to go. If we get something with some lightning and cold res, then we could be in for a little bit of an easier time. Now that I'm finally here, I'm thinking that the smart play is actually to do armor, because then I can use the normal socket quest and put an Ort in there for 30 guaranteed fire res. I think this is the safe play.
Good day.
And you know what? I think that was the right call, because that gives us all 3 resistances. Obviously the 7% lightning is kind of nothing, but I'm going to punch a hole in that, and that's going to give us 37 lightning, 27 fire, and 12 cold, and some DR as well. I do need to give myself a little bit of strength, but only 2 levels, so that's not too bad. And I'm getting to a point where I'm thinking I may need to do a respec, so I could probably even respec, but this is good. That was the right call, I think. That was the right call.
What do you need?
Awesome. And I'm going to put an Ort in that. In case you're wondering where the Ort came from for this quest here, it came from rescuing the soldiers. I did that quest in Nightmare. I didn't do it in Normal. Very quickly jump to Nightmare so that you can see I actually did that quest. Just there. Alright, so now we've got this armor here. Alright, throw all that in the ground. All my imbues are now used. And we'll head back to Hell. So I've made it down to Andy. And I've punched a bunch of potions. And it's brought my poison resistance to a total of 1%. So that's how terrible that was prior to punching down some antidote potions. Alright, Andy's down. Well, I've been doing some P5 hit runs just before Andy and now after Andy, because I don't want to try and wear my awesome armor before I head off to Act 2. But as you can see, experience is pretty good down here. Sometimes you get lucky with something like this and you get an experience shine down here. Alright, I'm done in Act 1. I can't drag this on any further. I got my level and a little bit. And we are wearing our armor. So we're out of the red in our resistances here. We've got a whole 15% lightning res and 35 fire. So look at us go. We are still in the red a little bit with our cold. We're -7. So nothing I can do about that at the moment. This is literally as good as it's going to get until we try and get our very last ring from Ormus. So for now, we're stuck like this. I've worked my way down to Radamant, and we've got these undead skeletons here, these horrors, which are lightning immune, which is a little bit annoying. I'm gonna run out of jabs in a minute. Yes! Right, so I'm working my way through the maggot lair. I've got myself to the level 3, and it hasn't been too difficult so far. We're basically relying on Ellie to do a lot of killing, and Decoy is taking the brunt of the damage, while Ellie just sits back and does our shooting here. So this is the strategy so far, and it seems to be working relatively well. Got the staff. I'm not going to hang around. Let's get out of here. Don't attack. Get out. Over here, found another pair of crossbones. That's the second pair of crossbones that I have found, which I'm still having mana issues, even with the insight. So these would really help. But unfortunately, we got to do this. Oh, we got a great map here. Great map. This will be exit. Ah, look at this. Cool. So we're down level 2 here. We got a great map. So we just third wayed, which is not too bad because we're actually getting pretty good experience in Arcane, and we're getting very close to a level. So the fact that we third wayed isn't a huge problem. Right, so it's a sad day. We've run down to Duriel, which means we have to take off our amulet, which is the last time in this game we will get to wear an amulet. So no more amulets for us for the duration of this run. Gonna see how we go. Yeah, Ellie's about to get owned immediately. Oh, we're doing all right. Oh, look at this drop. Look at the drop, boys. Look at the drop. I've never seen that. I've never seen, for a quest, I have never seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 scroll of town portals. Not a single item. Not one. I mean, we can't wear that. In fact, this is probably best case scenario, because I can fill up my Tome of Town Portal. I can use every single one of these. Have you ever seen that? No items, 5 scrolls of Town Portal? Wow. Alright, made it to Act 3. This is the act where I think we're going to start running into problems. So Act 1 and 2 were pretty simple, but I have a feeling that right now we're about to hit a whole lot of hurt. We have fiends down here, which is no good for us. Alright, hype time. We're about to get our last ring from Ormus. Here we go. Come on, Ormus. Do us a solid. What do we got? 22 cold, 43 mana. I mean, we're already pretty low on cold. I can't take any more away from that just to get a little bit more mana. It's another nothing burger. I'll just run back because I want to kill Serena before I move on. And we get a level now as well, so that's nice. Everything's coming up Millhouse. So we picked up probably my favorite named unique in the game. So we found a Executioner's Justice. A interesting drop there. I also found a co-rune. So that's there in case I want to do something for the mercenary later. Alright, so it's Trav time now. So we're going to run down here and we're going to see how we go with Trav. We do have all these random lightning immunes that are everywhere, which is super annoying. Nice. Once again, MVP. Thank you. Come on, open. All right. So against all odds, we've made it down to Mephisto. We are going to run over and finish this guy up. And we are about to run over and see how we deal with Hell Mephisto. I don't have fantastic res, as is anticipated, and we just take a hit like that, and it's no good. Oof. Whee! Yes! And where Duriel gave us nothing, Mephisto gives us a +4 shape-shifting Cerberus Bite. Found Izzy. Nothing too worrying here. The only thing you gotta watch is the Frost Nova that will potentially freeze us, but there it is. Easy. So, no worries there with Izzy. Right, I wasn't going to do this because I don't know whether we can use the runes for anything really in particular, but I'm so curious as to what we would get that I want to do it anyway, just to see. All right, let's have a look. Lem! 2 lems. So the rune was basically the only thing we could have used there. And I've already socketed the helm with a Rowl. And I don't actually have a hell rune to unsocket it. And I'm not going to go running tower to try and get a hell rune to unsocket this to put it on. So it really didn't matter anyway. But we got a lem. We're in chaos. Surprisingly doing okay. We get these Doom Knights and we just shred them. And Ellie seems to be taking care of the Stormcasters. So teamwork makes a dream work. Good job, Ellie. Easy game. All right, we just got our cold resistance out of the red. We're on 3%. But the fun doesn't end there. Because we have another weapon to get. Now, this is going to be the final item of the run that I can possibly get from any character. I haven't actually rescued the barbarian, so there's still a couple more runes. But I can't put them anywhere because I've already used the ones that I've gotten from them anyway. But in terms of actual items, this is it. This is the end. I highly doubt she's going to outdo herself because this like 4230 is just some straight up insanity that she gave me in Nightmare. So let's see what she's got for us now.
Thank you.
They're not bad. I got the 2 to skills and some lifesteal. I think I'll stay with what I've got, not for 151 dex, where we're never going to get to that. While we're here, we'll kill Pindle. Right, so I've made it down to the Ancient's Way, and so far I have had exceptional luck with having no lightning immunes. So hopefully that continues on over into Weldstone, because it's a little bit of a ridiculous luck having 0 lightning immunes basically the whole way through Act 5. Oh. Well, that's only the second death of the entire run. First death of hell. Act 5. And I was trying to get out of there too. Alright, Ancient's time. I got to admit, I've been dreading this since the start of the run. I don't have a plan, because we're going to have a lightning immune somewhere, and I don't know how I'm going to separate them without a telestaff and not being able to run super fast. So we're just going to have to try and see how this goes. I'm going to put a decoy there to try and... Oof. Hitting hard. Hold Enchanted is not the way to go. Oh. One down. Now, can I do this without Ellie? That's the question. Maybe if I had 17,000 years to spare. I mean, I could just leave it there and then just go and make a coffee and come back. I mean, he's slowly dying. Yeah, I'm gonna come back. Two down. All right, let's get him. Extra strong. Gotta watch him. Who thought in the middle of a challenge run you could just get up, walk away, and beat the Ancients? I just found a Moses, which is an incredibly underrated shield. I would love to wear that. Put 2 perfect diamonds in that, and that would solve all of my resistance problems. Come on, Ellie. All right, let's get up there and kick Bale's ass. We are so close to completion now. There we have it. That's the end of the run. So let's have a look how we finished up. So we finished up at level 81 and nearly level 82, which is really, really high for a challenge run. But I also knew that I was going to be relying on my skills, so the more higher level that I was, the better damage and easier this run was going to be. So I did make a distinct effort to get over leveled a lot of the time. Considering we're in hell and we're using literally only quest gear, we're doing pretty good here, I think. We're not in the red. We were in the red for a little bit in the cold res, but our fire res is 45 and our lightning is 25. That's pretty good. The minus 39, once again, I'm not worried about the poison. In terms of our skill tree over here, I ended up getting our Valk up to 12. I just put a 6 into Pierce for a nearly 60% chance to always pierce. I have 1-point wonders going all the way through there to get there. And we have maxed our Lightning Fury, we have maxed our Charge Strike, and we have maxed a Lightning Strike Synergy, and I started putting the remaining ones into Lightning Bolt. There is nothing going on in our bow and crossbow skillers. I still have this on swap because I was anticipating that we were going to run into immunities that would become a huge problem and I would need to have a dual damage. And my plan was actually to go and use the bow and use Freezing Arrow. That's what I was going to do, but unnecessary. Completely unnecessary. We didn't need to do that. And I wasn't running away from anything. We were killing most things with just using Valkyrie, Ellie, and myself. And between those three, we did fine. I thought this challenge was going to be more difficult when I was locked into only having items from quest. I'm still using my starting shield. I have imbued this, I have imbued this, I have imbued this. This is our Nightmare Javelin. And these two rings here, this one here I believe was a Nightmare Akara, and this one here was our normal Akara that I used the crafting recipe to get a fire ring. So this is how our gear ended up as well. I used a crafting recipe to punch a hole in this for our 19 socket. The diamond that is in that came from normal Hellforge. The runes which are socketed into this have come from the rescuing of the Barbarians quest in Act 5. Finally, the last thing I'm going to touch on for this challenge is that I had probably the best drops I have ever had in a challenge. Not only in a challenge, but just in a run-through. Like, if I had these drops when I was playing a season start, I would be so happy and geared up. I found White Monarchs, I found a, Moses, I found a 4-socket Crystal Sword very early on, which I could have made a spirit in. I found multiple 4-socket bows for Ellie, so I'm currently using a shadow bow that I had through, but her bow changed continuously throughout the run because I kept finding 4-socket bows. So we have a long battle bow, which was the first one that I made, and then I had a gothic bow, which didn't roll very well. We found a homunculus, which is also just completely ridiculous. A Cerebus's bite, which is also pretty rare. A executioner's justice, which these are not common items to find. Considering I'm running 0% magic find, that's straight up insanity. Let alone finding things like White Monarchs and a 15 ED superior mage plate, and then capped off with the greatest drop of all, which came from Anya, I think, which is this, our 40 IAS, 230 enhanced damage, 1 to jab and spear skills, the cold damage that helps with the slow of the enemies. I mean, just an all-round solid weapon. If I had this through a playthrough, I would be stoked. The main things that really sucked from quests were the ring drops. We had a lot of bad rings like this, completely useless. This one here, completely useless. This one here, completely useless. This would have been okay if I hadn't already got a 30 cold res ring. So, look, that's not terrible, but as a whole, the rings were not great. Ellie finished up wearing a treachery in a mage plate and a circlet with half freeze duration and all res 15. So I think that just about covers everything. I just want to say thank you for coming along on this journey with me. It actually wasn't as difficult as I was anticipating. I really thought, being basically a naked run for nearly the whole thing, that it was going to be a little bit harder than that. But I underestimated how powerful Javazon was even when you're completely naked. So maybe I'll attempt this again, but use a different class. Or maybe I'll just come up with something completely different. Let me know what you want me to do. Anyway, thanks for checking out the video, bros. I'll see you in the next one.